What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy Niner Gang podcast and back in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right on into it, man. We are here to specifically talk about the running backs in the NFC West. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty and see what's going on with these guys and, just go over the same stuff. Who's best? It's that simple. Who is the best running back in the NFC West? And we're going to start with the best running back. So we'll lay all the running backs out. You got some newcomers. You got some new blood in the division. You got some different things going on. So we'll start off with the newcomers, and then we'll go ahead and move forward with the vets and make sure that everybody is good. So just to give you a brief rundown of the running backs for the 49ers, we currently have Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, Isaac Guerrero, Patrick Taylor Jr. Not sure who that is. Probably going to be a practice squad guy if he even makes it. And then for the Rams, they have Zach Evans, Boston Scott, Blake Corum, Ronnie Rivers, and Kyron Williams. For the Cardinals, they have James Conner, Trey Benson, DJ Dallas, Michael Carter, and Imari DeMercado. For the Seahawks, they have Kenneth Walker III, Zach Charbonnet, Kenny McIntosh, George Holani, and Kobe Lewis. So those are just a rundown of the actual guys. What's going on, man? Appreciate you, bro. So those are the running backs in the division at this present time. So when you hear all of those names, we're only going to focus more so on the starters and possibly the backups. Some of those names are just completely new and brand new to the division, brand new to the team. So it's a little bit different. It's not the same faces every single time, but for the majority of it, as far as the starters go, yes, the backups have definitely moved around and changed and whatnot. But let's talk about it. You know what I mean? So when you look at it, period, point blank, CMC is the best in the league, let alone the NFC and or the NFC West. 1,459 yards rushing, 5.4 yards per carry, 14 TDs, 2 fumbles, both were lost. His longest run was 72 yards. Receiving, 67 catches, 564 yards, 8.4 yards per catch, and 7 TDs. Longest catch was 41 yards. He did have 1 fumble, and that wasn't lost. 461 yak yards. And it's just basically telling you that CMC is literally the best. So when you just look at his touchdown total combined, he had 7 TDs receiving and 14 rushes, 21 touchdowns alone, just him. So that tells you right off the bat that there's a lot that goes into it. Do we have CMC? Do we overuse CMC? Is he always a part of the game plan? Yes, he is. He is always a part of the game plan. He is Kyle's go-to. He's literally the key that unlocks the Shanahan system, so to speak. Basically, I do see a lot of usage of Christian McCaffrey. I mean, heck, when he had gotten here right off of being traded to us a couple of years back. What's going on, Dave? A couple of years back, he literally came in and played, and I believe it was versus the Chiefs, and still had a fairly decent game for not necessarily knowing the system, not understanding how we do things. I think he had been in the system, been around it, and been told about it, possibly even by his dad, because his father, Ed McCaffrey, played with us for a bit, and he did play with Mike Shanahan, so the system is similar. Of course, Kyle has put his own twist and things on it. That's obvious. But basically, it's just a situation of, Christian kind of being groomed and known to be, the running back of this time that is the best in the league in general. Now, I wouldn't be I'd be remiss if I didn't state that there's a reason that Christian McCaffrey can do what he does. There's a reason that, LaDainian Tomlinson was able to do what he did. There's a reason that Marshall Faulk was able to do what he did. All these dual threat guys, I'm going to keep it a buck, and I'm going to take credit, and I'm going to have our team take credit, and I'm going to have our one of the greatest head coaches of all time, who spawned a bunch of other head coaches. I'm going to give him credit too. That's Bill Walsh. That's his West Coast system that Bill Walsh built, along with the fact that Roger Craig should be in the Hall of Fame. It is a crime that that man is not in yet, but what he did was set the tone for these guys to be themselves and be the running backs that they are. A lot of people model their current playing style after what Roger Craig did, because Craig was the first dual threat, running back / receiver. He was that dude. He was the one who put it on the map, and he did a lot while he was there. And we love Roger Craig, but you got to give that man his due. You got to give him his credit. He's the quintessential reason that you have a dual threat running back at all. And for everybody to, almost all but dismiss the fact that this man revolutionized the game with the way he was doing things, it's a crime. You know what I'm saying? So CMC a total of 21 touchdowns. And then when you take a look at it, he had just under 2,000 scrimmage yards between his rushing and his receiving. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a situation of understanding that CMC is who he is, and he's fantastic. He's great. He shows you everything that you need to see. But I would say with this year coming, spell CMC. Don't use him as much. Don't overutilize him. Let CMC be who he is. But at the end of the day, make sure you limit his carries to a point where he's still getting the job done. He's getting his touches. He's getting his TDs. He's getting his yards. He's doing whatever. But you make sure that you put other backs in to give him a break. You got to sometimes protect people from themselves, especially when they're workaholics. And CMC is a workaholic. He will not want to come out. But then at the same time, Kyle's got to be the guy to say, hey, sit down for a second. That's why we have Elijah. That's why we have Jordan. We just brought Isaac in. Like, there's reasons where you can tell a guy it's okay to take a break. You're not going to lose your job. Everybody relax. You know what I'm saying? Take a chill pill. Go ahead and have a seat, man. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Kyle didn't necessarily do that, but he, basically kind of utilized CMC a lot. And I'd like to see CMC saved a little bit more for the playoffs, because we'll make it. This squad is definitely fine-tuned enough to make the actual playoffs. I'll say that much. But I wouldn't want to, be that person where I'm overutilizing, the best weapon that I have. And then by the time the playoffs come, I'm asking him to give me more, and he doesn't have anything left. And I'm not saying that that's what goes on, but CMC played the Super Bowl with a bad calf. Elijah Mitchell was standing right there, perfectly healthy, nothing wrong with him. We didn't see him until the third quarter. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is utilize him properly so he doesn't, kick you in the butt later. That's all it is. And you want to be smart about that. You want to say to yourself, okay, I got this. I'm doing the right things. I'm going to make these things, work. Everything is cool. And, we're going to get him his touches. He's not going to be upset, but it doesn't always work out like that. So what you want to do basically is just make sure that you are giving everything you have, and make sure on top of that, that you're not freaking out, that you're not going crazy, that things aren't, having an adverse effect on the actual player because he's overutilized. We want to be sure about that. We want to make sure that this guy is doing exactly what he needs to do at all times, and that he's healthy. CMC has had a few health scares, a little bit, but not too many. Just a second. But I just want to make sure that everybody is understanding what's going on, media, that CMC is the best running back in the league, let alone the NFC or the NFC West. So we'll move on and we'll talk about the next guy. Next guy on the list is going to be James Conner, running back for the Cardinals. 1,040 yards rushing, 5.5 yards per carry. Longest run was 44 yards, 7 touchdowns, no fumbles, 27 catches, 165 yards, 6.1 yards per catch, 2 TDs, and 211 yards. So he had basically just under, 1,200 scrimmage, just over 1,200 scrimmage yards in total, and he accounted for 9 touchdowns. So you got to love what James Conner brings to the table for the Arizona Cardinals. He's been their running back for the past couple of years. He is that guy. He keeps them going. He keeps them running. There's not really a running back by committee over there with the Arizona Cardinals. It's basically James Conner or bust. You do see your Rondale Moores here and there, and every now and then, you kind of catch a couple dudes here and there in the background. Then, of course, you got Kyler Murray. He's going to have a little bit to do with the running game because he is a mobile quarterback, you know what I'm saying? And being short, he's got to scramble around, run around, and try to find ways to make things happen, throw the ball, all of those good things. But, James Conner is a formidable presence in the NFC West, and he's no slouch. I remember him from his days with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Conner is definitely a very good running back, for the Cardinals, and those things kind of work out. So let's move on. We got Kenneth Walker III, running back for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks, typically, we know they're usually used to kind of a running back carousel because for the most part, they cannot keep a running back healthy to save their lives as a team. Did last year, it was not that as the case. Kenneth Walker played pretty much a good majority of the games, and they do have a nice little backup named Zach Charbonnet. I know about Charbonnet. Why? Because he's a UCLA product, and I am a UCLA fan. So they've got a nice little kind of dual threat thing going on there. So if Kenneth Walker were to go down, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think they skip a beat. Zach Charbonnet is just as good. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Charbonnet would be a viable piece for them if they needed him to continue on and go down the stretch. He may not have the speed that Walker has, but he's still got the size, he's still got the smarts, and he's still got the game to be able to do what he needs to do and make himself a formidable opponent if called upon. You got Kenneth Walker, once again, 901 yards, 905 yards, 4.1 yards per catch per run. Longest run was 45 yards, 8 TDs, 1 fumble, 29 catches, 259 yards, 8.9 yards per catch, 1 TD. And his longest catch was 64 yards. He had 317 yak yards. So Kenneth Walker is definitely a viable running back. If you get him out there, Jim, what's going on, man? And he in the house with the bullshit already. And I'm glad you're here because I'm about to get to your running backs, and we'll talk about that. They did draft Trey Benson. I don't really know if they're going to start rotating guys on that one, media. I did see Benson, but I will say this, it would probably behoove them to make sure they rotate things because who was it? Connor, he missed a couple of games. I think he only played 12 games last year, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, if you kind of, do a little running back by committee, it helps you. It keeps going. Look, Jim, as much dumb shit as you say in my chat, please don't come in here with no love for the Rams running backs over Christian McCaffrey. You got to be out of your fucking mind to believe that any running back on the Rams or in the NFC, in the NFL is better than Christian McCaffrey. There are very few running backs that come close, but definitely ain't none of the Rams running backs. I like Kyren Williams. I love what he's done, but he's not Christian McCaffrey. So, you can say what you want about us not winning a championship, all that other shit. I get it, but definitely don't come in here with the BS acting like the Rams running backs are those people because they're fucking not. Okay, I just listed your running backs, and the only person that I know, you have Zach Evans. Don't know who the fuck that is. Boston Scott, never heard of him. Blake Corum, never heard of him. Ronnie Rivers, never heard of him. The only person on your team that makes any sense is the guy I'm about to talk about right now, and his name is Kyren Williams. He had 1,144 yards, 5 yards per catch. 5 yards per rush. Longest rush was 56 yards. He had 12 TDs, 2 fumbles. One of them was lost. 32 catches for 206 yards, 6.4 yards per catch. 3 TDs. His longest catch was 24 yards. And he has 277 yak yards. Now, Kyren Williams is a very formidable running back. Yes, he is. He is definitely pretty good. He's, it's not over the top. I don't think we're going to see too much of a running back by committee from the Rams. They are going, what's going on, Jason? I don't think that we'll see any type of rotation. It's going to be Kyren Williams or bust because all of these other backs, no one knows who the fuck they are, nor do they have a resume to compete with anybody in the NFC West, let alone in the NFL. So it's a whole different thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what it will be. You said Blake is a national champ. Let's see here. Blake Corum. So what? He was playing with the I believe what in Michigan that just won a national championship. Sorry, I don't watch a ton of college football. Forgive me. But what I'll do is I'll give Kyron Williams his due. I'll give all of these running backs their due. Everybody went over 1,000 yards except for Kenneth Walker, and he missed a few games. But at the end of the day, when you look at the landscape of the NFC West and you want to take a look at these guys, if you're going off of sheer numbers, obviously CMC is numero uno. And then when you take it back to the rest of the guys, you'd have to go with Kyron Williams in a strong second. Basically just based on the fact that the man put up some good numbers and he is a damn good running back. And then if you wanted to go, third and fourth, you can even have a 1A and 1B when it comes down to James Conner and Kenneth Walker III. Conner is still a formidable back. He did get over that 1,000-yard mark. That's always big for running backs to be able to keep making sure they can try to get some money in their pockets, along with the fact of, you got to be a dual threat guy. But I honestly would say it'll start at the top with us. Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in this division, let alone in the league. Once again, Kyron Williams, I'll give him a strong second. And then if you want me to go ahead and give you a third, I'll have to say because he was actually able to stay healthy, we'll let the Seahawks slide in there. Pause at third with Kenneth Walker the third, and then we'll give James Conner, fourth. But when you take a look at the landscape of the NFC West in our division and all of these position groups, the 49ers kind of do dominate in different areas and whatnot. Be honest with you, the only other team in our division that's going to have a dual threaded running back is going to be the Seattle Seahawks, and that's going to be with Kenneth Walker and with Zach Charbonnet. So those two guys are definitely the guys that you got to be careful and look out for. I can tell you that both of those dudes are very formidable running backs. They run hard. They're fast. They're quick. They can do some dual threat things. They don't get used like that a lot because that's not the offensive system that they are in. But I can tell you right now, those two dudes are definitely very, very viable guys. Nothing wrong with him. I like Kenneth Walker III. I like his speed. I like, his running style. But just looking at the overall landscape of the NFL and what you need to be, CMC is the guy. He is the blueprint. And that blueprint came from, once again, none other than Bill Walsh and him implementing that while he was the head coach as the 49ers, along with being the offensive coordinator, and Roger Craig. Remember, any dual threat guy you see out there, if you don't give Roger Craig his due, you're bullshitting yourself and you're doing yourself a disservice by not honoring that man because he revolutionized the running back position doing what he did. It's really hard to be a 1,000 kind of guy. It's really hard to be 1,500 kind of guy. And when I say those numbers, I'm saying rushing and receiving. That's what I'm referring to, obviously. But those are the two, those are the dudes in the NFC West. Anybody in the comments, tell me what you think. Tell me what running back I might be sleeping on. Let me know who might be the guy that might just jump out and make a name for himself and change some things around. The next thing that we'll jump on to is we're going to jump on to the wide receivers. And basically that's that. We're going to jump to the wide receivers. That's going to be a fun one because it's going to be a whole – still a shame. I agree with you, Jason, that he's not – the Hall of Fame should be ashamed of themselves for not letting that man in. And I think at this point the Hall of Fame becomes a popularity contest because it doesn't tell you anything. It shows you that people are stupid and that they don't know how to watch things. They don't know how to pay attention, and they don't know how to put aside personal differences or personal grievances with someone to be able to let them know, hey, at the end of the day, these dudes need to be in here because look at their numbers. Look what they did for the game. Look how they revolutionized it. Even when they was doing that to T.O., they just didn't like his character. No one gives a shit about T.O.'s character. At the end of the day, that man was a fucking legend. He got on that field and did things other people could not, and he showed you that you could not guard him. When he sat up there and said, I love me some me, he meant that shit. He meant every fucking word of it, and you just had to deal with it because there was nothing you could do because T.O. could eat you alive at any given moment in his prime. DBs were definitely on the lookout for that guy and watching film and doing everything they could to be able to stop him because he was that great. And when it comes down to it, that's what CMC is. Christian McCaffrey is that damn good. And yes, you want to be able to be careful and look out for the dude, because other than that, he will catch you slipping and he will eat you alive. So that's going to end it for me here, man. I'm going to make these videos short and sweet. I'm not going to dig too deep into things. I'm not going to go into an overabundance of information. At the end of the day, we all know it's very simple. CMC is the king of the NFL at the running back position. We all know he rules the NFC. We all know he rules the NFC West. It is what it is. You don't like it? Comment. Tell me why you don't like it. Give me viable reasons, just not Niner hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just come into the comments and hate on it. Give me a viable reason. Tell me, hey, this is the reason why this is happening, or blah, blah, blah. This is the reason why I feel this guy's better than CMC. But you're not going to come in my comments and say that, because you'd just be ignorant to do so, because I have too many facts just based on his numbers alone that would just destroy any argument you would try to provide. And please don't say it's a system thing, because everybody's in the goddamn system, so that doesn't make a difference. Okay, but if you're going to come in the comments, definitely let me know and give me viable reasons. I do not mind an open debate. I'm always up for that, but you got to give me something viable to go on. It can't just be, a bunch of BS. You know what I'm saying? So that's it for me. I appreciate everybody for stopping in. If you caught me on the tail end, definitely catch me on the back end. You know what I'm saying? And appreciate y'all stopping in. Peace.